Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with another episode of my Building a Bankroll Challenge that has gone back to being called Building a Bankroll Challenge from being called some other things as I've messed around with the titles. The reason for that is because we're not moving on up anymore, we're kind of moving on laterally due to a few things that I'll talk about during the video, but we're just going to be three tabling for the course of this video, maybe the next couple of videos, maybe more, and I'll explain that as I go along. But just to make you aware, for those of you who watch on YouTube, I think three tabling is a bit slow because I was kind of reticent to make three tabling videos because they will be slow and there will be times when I'm not saying very much, when I just haven't got much to say and I'm just like folding some junk. So if you go into the YouTube on the player, click the settings and click the speed, you can actually speed the video up to 2 times as fast. So you don't have to sit there being bored whilst maybe I'm spending 5 minutes folding stuff and not really having an awful lot to talk about. So if I was you guys, I would strongly recommend going on to the 1.5x or 2x settings and just speeding up and slowing down as and when some more interesting things are happening. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause now while we move the screen on to capturing the tables that I'm playing at. Then we'll crack on with the video and we'll discuss why we're just retabling, etc. So here we are now with our tables up. Hopefully we've got all the tables within the capture area. So first of all, the tiny last bit of housekeeping. If you are enjoying the series, enjoying watching the series, and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. I used to add little icons to my videos to say please subscribe, etc., but can't be asked now. I'll just ask you. It's easier, it saves me time. And also, if you are a subscriber, if you hit the little bell icon in the top right corner of YouTube, you will get email notifications of when I put videos out. So hopefully that'll help me get a few more hits, and I hope you guys who are wanting to watch, they'll give you some, you have to go looking for my videos, you'll get notifications of when they're coming out. Anyways, all that aside, why 3 tables? Why some 10 and L? What's been going on? I haven't put a video out now for 3 or 4 days, and that's mostly been, well, two reasons really. I've been struggling a little bit for volume, and when I've been playing, like either the wife's been around or the kids have been like upstairs or in bed, or just various reasons why I haven't really been playing too much when I could have been recording. But also on top of that, I haven't been playing as much because I've been struggling to get volume and get hands in. It's took me perhaps 20 minutes from the start of my session to start recording this video because I was sat at an empty heads up table at 10 and L and at 20 and L for maybe 10 minutes or more, maybe 15 minutes for the 20 and L table. And eventually I just quit the 20 and L table and just found like an empty seat on the 10 and L table just so I could start like properly playing. Right, Ace King. We've got the Ace of Diamonds. There's some pretty cool turn cards for us, so we'll see a bit here. We do get called, but we hit the King, which is nice. And we continue betting for value, but I will be folding 2 arrays against UTR, baby, because he's a very honest player, shall we say. So yeah, I've been struggling a little bit for volume at 20 now. For some reason, there seems to be, just never seems to be like a good lobby at 20 now at the moment, whether some of the guys are playing 30 now. I've noticed there's maybe a few more 30 now games going, and quite often a lot of 10 now, but 20 now seems to be a forgotten limit at the moment, which is unfortunate timing given where we are in the challenge, but you know, it is what it is. So I've struggled a little bit with volume. So I'm just going to check my 2/8s. I've struggled with volume a little bit. And to be honest with you, we've had a bit of a bad run too. When I have played, I've ran bad, and to be frank, I've not played my best. I've made not many mistakes, but a couple of mistakes. And what happened was, since the last video, when we first started playing Twin, we were on a big heater. We went up by about 6 buy-ins. Pretty much all of that has been lost. So we're back to kind of where we were when we started the 20NL part. A little bit too much traffic here with the 10.8 for me to want to see but that board texture. We'll go against Claret Bar, so we'll start by calling. Turn the S, so we'll raise for value. Hope Claret Bar doesn't jam. Yeah, so we haven't really made much progress last couple of days, but I haven't played much either. We just had like maybe 3 wild sessions of like really like the highs of kind of finding it impossible to lose, and then the lows of finding it impossible to win, which is all just like par for the course. And to be honest, I wish I'd caught some of it on video, because I'd like to have had my thoughts captured right in the moment. We're just getting a ridiculous price here to call pre-flop with a playable hand, so we shall. The board doesn't coordinate, so we shall terminate the adventure here. So yeah, basically that last couple of sessions, they haven't gone great. I've been starting to have some weird thoughts like, oh, let's go and play Snap again. Let's put some money on PokerStars and play a full ring. Let's do all the stupid things that I think about when I've had a couple of bad sessions in a row, which I have had. I think of on a downswing of about £150 at the moment, which is irritating, but it's all part of the game. It's all part of like the challenge of trying to build a bankroll. If it was all plain sailing, there wouldn't be any need for poker coaches or poker mentors. There wouldn't be any need for these kind of videos, because everyone will be able to do it really easily. I've been going through the roughest patch since we started the video, since we started the series, and I wish I'd caught some of it. I genuinely do wish I'd caught some of it, because capturing some of my thoughts when I was just like running bad and playing bad, and not capturing the thoughts of, oh, you fucking donkey, or you fucking, I'm so unlucky, not those thoughts. I mean, capturing the thoughts of why I feel all of a sudden like it might be a good idea to go and put money on PokerStars, which is never a good idea for me. Or why I was thinking, oh, you know, it's a good idea, let's put some money on 888 and play some Snap again. All those things would have been nice to capture them live and in the flesh, rather than just like go over them retrospectively. But we didn't. But I did have those thoughts. I'm not going to deny it. There's no point denying it. I want this series to be as honest as possible. And if we're just going to ignore the bad parts and just like only show the good parts where we're winning, and not talk about the darker moments and the things that happen when our mood gets a little bit darker, then it's not honest, is it? It's not honest, and it's not helping you guys, who will no doubt go through the same problems. That seems like a nice river for us, the 9. See, we didn't catch it, unfortunately, but we are 3-tabling going forward, because, quite frankly, I'm not playing well enough for the last 2 or 3 sessions to play 4 or more tables. I need to kind of get back to just focusing on playing well, and the focus being on playing my very best poker, not so much volume. 2 overs, and we just have to go with this against someone who's only got 8 big blinds left in the stack. Our hand's way too strong to check fold. I mean, it looks like we don't have the best hand when he calls, but we do pick up some extra equity. And we do have the best hand anyway, which is fun. I completely lost where I was now. Completely lost my train of thought. We'll get back to it in a moment. It'll come. It'll come. Concentrate on the ace-king for the time being. Yes, that was it. 3-tabling rather than 4 and 5-tabling. Yeah, when you're not playing well and when you're not playing your best, for me the most important thing is getting back to your best, restoring your confidence and what have you, is more important than just ploughing through volume. I've made the mistake fucking countless times, and no doubt some of you guys have too, is that the worse things get, the more your volume goes up. So you're increasing volume at like the fucking worst time to increase your volume, because you're not playing well, you're not feeling good, you're not confident, and all those things. And it's like, why would you do that to yourself? But you do it to yourself because you want to like blast your way through your bad run, because kind of your mind's saying to you, oh, I'm just getting unlucky. Let's just blast through this, like, get smash volume, get to the long term quicker, and everything will be okay. But that's not being entirely honest with yourself. You're not just being unlucky. I haven't just been unlucky during this like £150 downswing. I've played badly too. I've not played anywhere near my best. I've done a couple of fucking ridiculously stupid, dumb things. And that's been happening because I've been like trying to play too many tables, not thinking straight about the situations, not forward planning enough, because I've just been mashing buttons, and it's where my results haven't been as good as they should be. Don't like that jack very much. I'm not sure I'm ready to fold yet, but I don't like the jack much. Now I think I am just ready to fold. I mean, I could be folding the best hand here, but on a board like that, with just one pair, against two opponents, just going to let it go. And, yes, it was a good fold. As it happens, the jack didn't fucking change anything. But getting called twice on that board texture and a straighty, two-pairy type card comes, you've got to be aware that it might not be the best of situations for you. But that was, if I'd been playing 6 tables and I was playing that yesterday, I would absolutely 100% have bet that turn. Because I wouldn't be thinking as clearly, and I would have made a mistake, and I would have bet the turn. Would it be a huge mistake? No, but I think it would have been a mistake nevertheless. So yes, evidence right there, as we were talking about, evidence right there of why I think it's a good idea to just slow it down a bit when things aren't going great. For the King Jack suited to the 3-bet. A lot of people will advocate or take a break. What are you going to do? You're going to take a break, then just get right back to the things you've been doing badly. Take 2 days off, then let's come back like 6 tables again straight away. We haven't really addressed any of the issues we haven't very quickly then, because you don't like empty your tilt glass, if that makes sense. Jared Tendler talked about it on a seminar I once watched, where you have like accumulated tilt, and the glass gets fuller and fuller and fuller. And if you don't empty the glass, taking a break doesn't empty the glass. It just keeps the glass where it is usually. Maybe it empties it slightly. Maybe some of the liquid evaporates, if we're going to continue with the metaphor. It doesn't empty the glass, whereas thinking about what's gone wrong, thinking about how to try and make things better, that helps you empty the glass, because when you do start your new session and you've changed a few things, then you start with like a much more positive outlook and much more hope for what's going to happen going forwards, rather than looking back and thinking, oh shit, this is so shit, we're straight back to where we were 2 days ago, 6 tabling, never making a fucking hand, etc, 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 not being able to think straight. Wow, this claret mar really is bad, isn't he? If I'd known he was just like min-donking complete air, we certainly wouldn't have. Man, what's all these notes? I have to tidy that note up at the end of the session, because that note is just a fucking mess. So coming back, saying, right, I've made a plan, I'm just going to 3-table, we're going to get back to trying to play winning poker, we're going to focus more, we're going to think more about bet sizing, seat selection, table selection, all those things. We're actually coming back into it then with a nice, positive, fresh outlook, rather than just having 2 days away, thinking, oh, I'm not going to think about poker for 2 days. I'm going to completely switch off from poker. Then I'm going to come back and do exactly the same things that I was doing before my break. There really is not an awful lot of point to that. So, yeah, I think the 3 table is really going to help me. Will I go back to 4, 5, 6 tabling? Possibly. It It's entirely possible we could get to Friday this week. It's currently only Tuesday. It's entirely possible we could have had a £50-60 upswing. I could start feeling better about myself, and we could get to Friday night and just see an absolute ton of fish at the tables. And I might think, you know what, now's a good time to add more tables, because it's a good time to be playing in terms of like how soft the games are, and it's a good time to be playing more tables in terms of where my mental game's at. It's all about just being like really honest with yourself, being good with your self-assessment, and then not only being good with your self-assessment, but also acting on your assessment and putting the right things in place for where you currently are. When you're feeling good, playing well and running well, adding more tables is a very, very sensible thing to do. When the complete opposite of that is true, then taking tables away and making sure that you're focusing completely and solely on the quality of your play, that is the thing to do, in my opinion. That's how I've always got through my downswings in the past. Usually it's not stopping playing and taking a break. That doesn't work for me. It's just going to be reducing volume and focusing on getting back to playing well. Get back on the horse, but just make it like a fatter, slower horse, basically. And we have to call at least once with this pair of queens. I think if he barrels a turn, I'm probably going to fold them. I just don't see people double and triple barreling these games with too many bluffs. I kind of lost track of how these games play when I was going through my bad run, because I was getting raised with when I had holdings that were close, but it was happening with like a slightly higher frequency than normal, just because it was like running bad situationally, in terms of like just like the weaker players hitting like the random weird stuff that normally they don't hit, and you just make a lot of money from them. You know, when they call your raise with Queen 7 and you've got, I don't know, 2 kings, and they flop a 7 and turn a queen, all those type of things you don't see coming. And that was happening with a slightly higher frequency than it should do. And that just happens. It's natural variance. I'm not saying anything's rigged or anything silly. It's just natural variance, isn't it? Sometimes that happens. And I wasn't really getting away from hands. I just felt like everyone was just pushing me around. We've all felt like it a million times. We'll all feel like it again. And I lost track of how these games play. I've been watching like quite a few videos on YouTube and a few various other areas, and allowing the videos that I've seen and people being aggressive with certain parts of the ranges, and it's like permanent. It's like got into my thinking and thinking, oh, this is what the players are doing to me at my tables, and they're just not. I kind of sometimes lose track of just how different Sky is to most other poker sites in terms of how the games play. So hopefully playing 3 tables and just seeing more of what's going on and being able to focus more on what's going on will help reground me and remind me just what Sky is all about. I think Shad can have overpairs between mine and the king here. I've been owning myself quite a lot lately in situations like this, like stabbing versus miss c-bets and getting home by like 9s through jacks and things. So we're not going to auto stab with our 8s in a multi-way pot. Possibly do it in a heads up pot, but not in a multi-way pot. Having the 2 overs on the back door, not flush draw, gives me a chance just to make him, if he's like betting a hand like pocket 5s or something here, just to protect, or if he's just like randomly stabbing with ace king and ace queen, it gives him a chance to fold it. Once he calls and that card comes, which completes a bunch of draws, I'm just going to give up, because I don't expect him to fold overpairs too often. He can have some flushes, not many I don't think, but he can have some. It's quite a nit, his EODO, so once he calls my check raise and I don't improve, I'm not going to get stuck in the bluff. we have to call here with the Queen 9, although I'm not too enthralled by it when Shad makes that such a large c-bet into 4 players. He checks the turn and check back. Not too many bad rivers for me. I guess we're just going to call the river. We lose to ace queen, pocket kings, pocket aces basically. Really not sure why he didn't bet the turn there, but the 2's a really good card for him in terms of, like, it doesn't improve me at all, or super unlikely to improve me. I mean, what deuce is going to have? Yeah. I think he misplayed that one shot. I think he just needs to go bet there, doesn't he, on that run out and just punish my Queen X. What his double barreling range looks like. He was not double barreling aces there. Suzy Q. Suzy Q is just mad aggressive. Almost maniacal. So it's good to have her at the table and to our right. UTR has 3-bet. I mean, that's just got to be aces or kings or something like that, because, as I said, the guy is going to be charitable and say he's very, very honest as a player. When he's 3-betting, I'm getting out of the way, usually. He 7x'd it earlier, though, on a 3-betting with aces, and he folded, which horrified me. But he's just clearly got a hand he's in love with here. This is UTR has almost no bluffs here, I would imagine. Unless he has like some big, strong semi-bluffs. Nope, he just has top set. There's a surprise. Surprise is the surprising thing is that he's 3-bet me with 2 9s. Didn't expect 2 9s to be in his 3-betting range too often from that particular position. So that has surprised me, but it doesn't surprise me that he turns up with the nuts when he's dropping post-flop bombs, that's for sure. We're checking back with our Queen 9 on table 2, if allowed. Clearly not going to be checking back any longer. I suspect Tuber's just going to fold, though, when he doesn't probe the turn. After I check back, it's unlikely he's got an ace. I'm just going to raise and take it here with the aces against UTR. Thought so. I mean, he seems like a friendly guy at the table, but he's literally, you can treat him just like an empty seat. He might be one of the most straightforward regulars I've ever come across in my entire life. It's remarkable how straightforward he is. Let's just leave that there. I won't say too much more about that. Double gut shot on table 1, so we're definitely going to be making a c-bet. Jake Manny. I thought he might have been from Liverpool with the surname, with the Manny in his name. Maybe he just wanted to mean Maine. Yeah, he certainly was magic last night when he stuffed that last-minute winner into the Blue Noses. That was enjoyable to watch. No apologies whatsoever to any Everton fans that don't like that comment. So we have a pair, some backdoor stuff here on table 2. So we're certainly going to be seeing a turn card, or trying to see a turn card. Don't think I have enough showdown value to. Man, it's too vulnerable to check here. I think we're just going to make a bet. We could be value owning ourselves against Shad, given that he's capable of like checking aces for a street and what have you. He could just be checking King Queen here for all I know, but we need to make a bet there, I think. Once he calls, we're not going to give him value. He's going to hope to spike a 7 or a 5. Not the 3. I think Shad's probably got something like pocket 9s, pocket 10s here by the looks of things. Maybe we beat Ace King, but I don't think we win, and I don't think he's folding, so we're not going to bet. Ace King. Not that in love with his check call on the flop there, really, but yeah. Don't really know very much about Shad. I've played against him quite a lot, but usually when I've been playing lots of tables, I feel like I don't know very much about him right now. Check back with my draw on the 8-10-8 against 2 players who are likely to be fish, because it kind of hits their range reasonably hard in terms of, do I expect to get lots of folds? Not really. So I'm not expecting to get lots of folds. The bluff part, the semi-bluff isn't going to be that great, so not really much point in semi-bluffing if you don't think you're going to get too many folds. I'm just going to give up here, I think. It's a small pot. I don't think people are going to fold at 10, which is kind of, if I'm betting, it's what I'm wanting people to fold. Certainly wasn't going to fold an ace. And that's another thing that I've been doing too much of, or not doing enough of, the last few days, is like not giving up on pots when it's obvious that the type of player that Sky hosts isn't going to be folding some of the hands you kind of want him to fold when you're going for bluffs. I've been trying to get people off pairs, and like second pairs and things, and that doesn't work on Sky. So the way we punish that is by making thinner value bets. It's certainly not by trying to apply pressure, because I haven't seen. Well, it's obvious we never know what people are folding, but given some of the things I've been getting called with, it doesn't feel like many players hitting the fold button very often with any piece of the board, like, unless the board's super wet, of course, with any piece of the board. So if people ain't folding, we don't want to be bluffing. But then the problem with that is it can sometimes manifest itself into us playing too much of a weak, tight style. It's like a really fine balancing act. When you get it right, Sky's really easy. You know, when you get in, you're making your thin value bets, you're getting paid, you're getting your bluffs through, and everything's going right for you. When you're running good, basically, against other people's ranges, when they're calling when you want them to, when they're folding when you want them to, there's no better feeling in the world when you're playing poker. But again, the opposite of that is true. That when you're just like not balancing, when you're treading that fine wire, and you're making a few missteps, and it feels like it's the hardest game in the world. And all of a sudden you're like, fucking hell, no matter what I do, it just doesn't work. You know, my bluffs aren't working, my value bets aren't working because we're varying too thinly, and our hero calls aren't working, and it's really is. You know, maintaining a life in online poker as a profitable player, it really is like walking a tightrope. Some days you make lots and lots of good steps in a row and you feel like you're the world's best tightrope walker. And other days, you're falling off it before you've got one foot in front of the other. And yeah, it's a big challenge mentally. It really is. Oh, don't jam Suzy Q. I had a feeling Suzy Q was going to be in jam mode there. Too busy talking, didn't notice she'd dropped below 50 big blinds. Unfortunately, we've completely bricked that flop. Nothing much we can do with the King Jack. We know Suzy's probably going to bet and we're probably going to have to fold. We really don't want Schubert to be stacking Suzy here because Suzy's not a big one for reloading. Suzy tends to go broke and quit. So let Suzy win, please. Good. I think a thing I've been doing when I've been playing too many tables, I've been isolating too late as well. I was like jumping all over limps with hands that don't really do that well against like the ranges people are limp calling with. Yeah, I'd say my last session I played, I felt like I set off playing quite well, and then some things happened to me that they weren't beyond my control. We ran pretty bad at this, in the middle part of it, and towards the end, I just felt like I have no fucking clue what I'm doing anymore. It felt like I was playing with a blindfold on. It was not a nice feeling. So I came back last night. I played exactly what I'm doing here. I played just a 3-table in session, only for maybe an hour, and I lost another £4 or £5, but I felt like I played much better. So yeah, we've had 3 losing sessions in a row, but it feels like we're turning a corner now. Hopefully at least we stop the bleeding. If we haven't turned around and started like winning again yet, it does feel like I've stopped the bleeding a little. King 10 on the 7-7-6 with 2 callers. We'll take a street off with the bet due to the stack sizes. And then once he pots the turn, I'm done with it. And this is what happens, you see. You think that no one's got anything because the flop checks through and he checks the turn. And then before you know it, you've got 2 guys. I mean, we would have got through on the flop there, so let's not pretend otherwise. But you got 2 guys who think, oh, that no one's got anything. But then they're still sticking around in pots, and that's been like quite a source of frustration to me. We've got the Ace of Hearts here, so we're going to make a C-bet. Because there's lots of good turn cards for us. Any heart, any card over a 10. 9 is neither of those things. So we're going to check, and we're just going to hope to bink an ace or a queen on the river here and be able to call Suzy's almost certain bet. That's going to come when we check back. And that would have been the great turn card. It's come 1 street too late, I'm afraid. Suzy checks again here. Wow. Maybe she just has like a deuce on a 4 or something. I think Suzy's more happy betting as a bluff than she is value betting, so who knows, maybe she's got a 10 as well. I think she's probably got a pair from the flop. Yeah, the deuce. I'm just going to let the 8 go. Can't really check call rivers too. Well, we could. But I don't think it would be a good thing to do. Table 3 wouldn't be the greatest right now. I mean, we've got position on 2 green tag players and we've got 2 relatively straightforward regs, so it's not like it's a terrible table. Doesn't feel there's too much happening at it. And now you might be understanding why at the start of the video we talked about playing the video on double speed, because when we are 3-tabling, for me it's fine, I don't get bored doing it, but in terms of like watching a video and enjoying the content, it can leave some quite uneventful periods. I guess we're just going to go 3 barrels now with the Jack Queen. I guess we're not, but that was the plan. Once we pick up the flush draw and the king, which is a scare card, we talked about earlier about bad times to semi-bluff when we don't think we have that much fold equity and that pot equity is just moderate. In that situation there, we had like decent pot equity on the turn, and the king gives us a good amount of fold equity too. So that would be a classic example of when it's a good time to semi-bluff versus earlier when it didn't feel like a good time to semi-bluff. You just got to pick your spots. You can't be like taking every time you have a chance to bluff. If you take every single one, you're going to be bluffing way too often. You're going to have way too many like bluff combos in your range and not enough value combos. So you got to know when are the good bluffs and when, what's a good time to bluff, what are the good boards to bluff on. Your holdings obviously matter in that situation too. And sometimes just with some of your worst bluffs, just don't take them. Just don't take them. Isn't on violence possibly on table 3? But nope. Idio probably knows better than to pay UTR when he's doing stuff like that. Not sure how long this video is going to run for. My wife has gone out to pick up one of the young ladies that we give home respite care to. She's promised me she wouldn't be back before 1 PM, which is in about 20 minutes from now. But then when I hear the car pull up on the drive, that's probably when the video is going to end, because when she comes home, I need to go and visit my mum, take my mum shopping, and then I've got a little bit of work to do this afternoon. I've got to go into one of the projects where I work, just to go and then drive the van to pick the guys up from the day services and bring them home for the day. So the video might come to an impromptu end, but that's nothing new with my videos. And now table 3 has gone utterly dreadful, so we shall leave. I'm going to presume Shad's got like 10s plus and ace king, ace queen here. I think his range is quite narrow for like 7xing out of the small blind. Can't really isolate with the queen 9 against an 18 big blind stack. Try and find a replacement table for table 3 quite quickly. We're in bluff catch mode here against Susie Q. Perfect spot to try and catch it out. You've got to fasten your seatbelts with Susie. And this wasn't the time. It's quite annoying. That's kind of what's been happening the last few days, where you have a plan for somebody, you execute the plan, and then they hit their whatever it is they need to hit to completely make your plan a total disaster. But not much you can do. I mean, Susie there, once she starts betting, she doesn't stop. So once we decide that's it, we're in bluff catch mode against Susie, we just have to see it through. Because Susie could just need to turn up there with some completely random airball that you wouldn't even think, you know, whatever it could be. I don't know what the board was, but it could just like 7-4 off or 10-6 off. Because that's just what Susie does, you know. There's not much you can do about it other than we got a bluff catcher out of position to Susie. So therefore we must bluff catch. And then the days it doesn't work out for us, well, it doesn't work out. Let's see if we can't find another table for this. Slightly loose open, middle position, but once the regular's out with a pot in shad, I think it's fine. Pick up a double gutter, which is nice, with a backdoor flush draw. It's a truly awful turn card. Don't want to give up the lead just yet though, so I think we're going to fire a big second barrel and then decide on the river. And I think the king now is just like It's a perfect barrel card for us. Sadly, Cormac had the cure for us. And without being too dramatic, the misery continues. And this is exactly what I was talking about. And this isn't me going into a whine. Well, it's a mini whine, but just like, you know, the turn barrel there was marginal. We don't have to do it, that's for sure. But we decided to, and then we get a good river to bluff on. So we go for it, and then the player just wakes up with pocket. Instead of having like 6-5 there or something like that, which they can clearly have, I think it was 6, whatever the board was, like a pair plus a straight draw, which they're going to fold on the river. They just have like one of the hands that isn't full, and that's kind of how it's been going for me lately, and it is undoubtedly continuing my downswing. I'm not entirely sure where it's on now, but it certainly feels like we've lost another 20 or 30 pounds during this session. So the downswing continues, and we are now in grave danger of having to move completely back down to 10 and L, because I think we're getting to the point where I won't know until after the session, but it feels like we're getting to the point where we're not going to be in the right spot for 20 and L, which would be pretty fucking frustrating, to be honest, but what can you do? Not to call it because tons of draws missed. Yep, of course he has the ace 4, and yeah, that's what you're seeing. What you've seen in the last few minutes is pretty much just encapsulated my last few days, where we know we're in front on the turn, and then the river hits the out you didn't even think he had, if you will. You think he's just got a flush and straight draws, and then he just hits his random 2 pair. And it is, I'm not going to lie, it's really, really annoying and frustrating. And I feel, right now, I'm feeling if I'm going to put my... What the hell's happening here? If I could put my thoughts into Jared Tendler mode, I'm suffering with a little bit of injustice and entitlement tilt, I would say. Those are the 2 major forms of tilt that I'm feeling like I'm under at the moment. I'm just going to fold this. He's check min raise to flop. Looks like he's possibly going for a trap on the turn, and then we're not going to call there. Yeah, I do feel a little bit sore and salty about just how things have been going for me. I'm 100% certain I should recover, but it does feel like the last few days have been quite the step back on the challenge, which is irritating, because it felt like we were making such really good progress. And Susie just decides not to bluff there, which is, I presume Susie had a 10 or a jack or something there, which is why I wasn't value betting. Because I presumed with Susie's checking range, either going to be check folding with something she's completely giving up on, or check calling. So yeah, we are feeling a little bit sore and salty now, but this is why we're making the series, because we want to capture everything about what it means to be an online poker player trying to build the bankroll, not just the good times of, oh, look at us, isn't it great? We're dragging down pots left and right, and we're building the bankroll really, really quickly, which we have done so far. This is the first real proper rough patch I've been through now, where I think this is the 4th session in a row that I've lost money. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's really pissing me off. But I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to sulk and whine about it, or are we just going to knuckle down and get the hell on with it? We're probably going to do both. We're entitled to sulk and whine. We're human beings when all said and done. Feeling angry and annoyed and feeling like the whole world's against you. That's just part of being a poker player. None of it's necessarily true, but you're allowed to have those feelings. There's nothing wrong with having them. It's just, how do you process them, and how do you try and ensure that they don't have a huge impact on what's happening. Many players right now, when they've moved up, they wouldn't be keen to move back down again, and they'd be thinking next session I've just lost fucking like whatever I've lost now, and like a £200 downswing maybe, and they're like, yeah, fucking hell, you know, I don't want to. A £200 downswing, I was moving down at 10 and I'm going to help, and people would stay playing higher than their role allows in a bid to like win their money back, if you will. But you got to remember, it's not your money. It is what it is. You know, you've lost that £200. It's gone now. If you compound that error by staying in games that you're no longer rolled for, trying to chase those losses and get that money back, you're going to be playing in games that you're not rolled for with a bad mindset. And that's how people bust accounts. That's how you bust your roll time and time again. Yeah, I'm disappointed. It looks like we're going to have to like drop back down to the 8-10-0 games, and I'm probably not going to move back up again until I've made all the £200 back. I'm probably just going to have to move back down until the bankroll is recovered by £200 before I even think about moving back up, because just winning 100 and taking a shot again, I think the scars wouldn't be healed properly. So we're going to do the goal moving forward for the next few videos now is absolutely 100% going to be, let's get the roll back to, let's get £200 from whatever at now. At the end of the video, I'll pause it briefly. I'm not going to be able to do it, I don't think, because the screen capture isn't going to allow me to put on my spreadsheet in, but we'll start the next video with the spreadsheet. That's not a good rubber. I was fearing a check raise from Susie Q there because she's just so bonkersly aggressive. But we just, against Susie Q again here, there's every chance that we lose. We lose to an 8, we lose to a king, etc. But she's so aggressive. She might have worse 2 pairs, she might just have 1 pair. Nope. A 9-8. Yeah, so I think it's time to get off the 20-0 table, because we're just, I know now that the bankroll is at a point where it can't sustain the losses at 20-0. That's currently happening. So yeah, we're going to end the video here on a really, really sad face moment. If we could find some sad music on YouTube, I'd possibly think about playing it, but then YouTube would just mute the video, and then that would fucking completely piss me off. So yeah, it's been a really sad update. It's been a sad edition, but that happens. That's part of poker, and you don't often see videos people putting out when things aren't going right. You don't see them. People don't post those videos. We posted it. It's not gone great. We'll be back. We will bounce back. I'll be back tonight, probably with another video, and it'll just be 10-0 and 8-0 again. It'll be either 3 or 4 tables, probably just 3, and then we'll just try and get things right. The plan is going to be 3 table until my confidence returns, until I don't feel so bruised, because right now I do feel bruised. I feel like nothing's gone right, and yeah, when you've had a £200 downswing and your bankroll was only like whatever it was, 600 and something to start with. Oh, you've had a 200 downswing from 600 and something. You've lost like a third of your bankroll in 4 sessions. You are going to feel sore. You're going to feel bruised. You're going to feel tender. My instinct is to just let's just fire up 8 tables of 10 tonight. Let's try and blast our way through it. That isn't going to be how we're going to do it, though. We're going to start by just 3 table in, maybe 4 table in, 8-0 and 10-0, until I feel that my game's at such a point where we can either add volume or move back up in stakes. We're going to fix ourselves slowly. We're not going to go for like a quick fix here. We're hurt, we're battered, we're bruised, but we're going to try and fix things in a way that gives us a good chance of a long-term recovery, and not just like paper over the cracks by trying to increase our volume at a time when we're not playing great. So yeah, it's been a bad update, but hopefully that the silver lining will be that we've touched on a lot of things during this video that will help a lot of you guys deal with your future downswings and your future bad runs. So yeah, at least hopefully we've got some good content recorded, but we're going to leave it there for now, because I'm not really feeling like playing much. And yeah, we'll catch you guys maybe back tonight, tomorrow. There'll be another video certainly in the next day or so. Bye-bye for now.